Have you ever wondered what survives when money fails? When the banks close, currencies collapse, and the numbers on your screen vanish, what's left that still holds real value? Every empire swore its money was safe. Every government promised its currency would last forever. And every single time, history proved them wrong. From ancient Rome to revolutionary France, from the Confederacy to modern Lebanon, people have woken up to find their savings worthless, their salaries meaningless, and their futures stolen by systems they trusted completely. Collapse isn't rare. Collapse is the rule. And the real question isn't whether financial systems fail, they always do. It's how you protect yourself when they do. Because the illusion of permanence, that's the most dangerous financial mistake of all. We look at our bank accounts, our US dollars, our credit cards, and we assume that because the system feels stable, it is stable. But money isn't bedrock, it's trust, and trust can vanish overnight. That's why history is so brutal and so useful. Every financial collapse leaves behind clues, lessons written in pain, about what actually protects wealth and what evaporates into dust. And here's the truth most people never hear. The survivors of those disasters weren't the ones who trusted most. They were the ones who doubted first. Take the Byzantine Empire, the eastern half of Rome that somehow lasted nearly 1,000 years after the West fell. At the heart of its power was a single coin, the gold solidus. It was so pure, so consistent that merchants from Europe to Asia accepted it without question. For centuries, it was the closest thing that the medieval world had to a global reserve currency. But here's the twist. Centuries earlier, Rome had already destroyed its own silver currency, the denarius, by debasement, mixing cheaper metals to stretch their wealth. You'd think Byzantium would have learned. They didn't. The emperors began to shave the purity of their gold, slowly at first. A little less gold here, a little more copper there, and for a while no one noticed. Then trust cracked. Trade slowed. Prices soared. And just like that, the world's most trusted money became just another political lie. What survived? Not decrees, not paper promises, but real assets, gold, land, tangible wealth. Merchants who quietly stored real value while everyone else chased symbols became the true survivors. Lesson 1, governments can't resist diluting money, and when they do, wealth escapes to whatever they can't, counterfeit. But not every collapse is caused by greed or rulers. Some are born from chaos itself. The mid-1300s, the Black Death. Half of Europe, gone. Cities abandoned, fields empty, trade collapsing. Yet, strangely, this wasn't just destruction. Because when half the workers die, labor becomes precious. The survivors, the blacksmiths, the farmers, the merchants who remained, suddenly had power. Wages soared, land and food became cheap compared to hands that could work. Families who had silver, gold, or simply liquidity could buy land that once belonged to nobles. The economy didn't just collapse, it rearranged itself. Sound familiar? It should. During COVID-19, centuries later, the same pattern appeared. Supply chains shattered, governments printed trillions of US dollars, and those who had liquidity, the investors, the corporations, the wealthy, bought assets while everyone else fell behind. The result? The stock market surged. Housing prices exploded and inequality grew wider than ever. Pandemics redistribute wealth. They always have. The question is, which side will you be on next time? If pandemics show how fast the world can change, banking collapses show how quickly trust can die. In the 1340s, Florence was Europe's financial capital, home to powerful banks like the Bardi and Peruzzi. They financed kings, popes, empires, even Edward III of England, who borrowed vast sums for war. But when he defaulted, those banks crumbled. Depositors were ruined. Commerce froze. Florence, once the Wall Street of the world, fell into chaos, and the ordinary Florentine learned a hard truth. Too big to fail is a myth that never ages. Every age repeats it. Lehman Brothers in 2008, Silicon Valley Bank in 2023, Lebanese banks in 2019. Every time institutions promise safety, and every time it's the ordinary people left standing outside the locked doors. The American Civil War wasn't just fought with guns. It was fought with printing presses. The Union created the greenback, the first paper dollar not backed by gold. At first, it was patriotic, bold, hopeful, but the more they printed, the less it bought. Inflation devoured trust. The South printed even more, graybacks that became almost worthless before soldiers could even spend them. By the end of the war, Confederate money could barely buy a loaf of bread. Entire life savings vanished. And yet again, real value survived in hard assets, land, food, and gold. Because when faith in money collapses, wealth doesn't disappear, it just moves from paper to tangible value. In France, during the revolution of the 1790s, the same story played out. The government issued a new paper money, the assignat, backed by seized church lands. At first, it seemed solid, but they couldn't stop printing. Prices exploded, bread riots returned, paper promises became toilet paper. Those who held food, silver, or land survived. Those who trusted patriotic paper didn't. Sound extreme? It's not. It's the same pattern we saw in Asia's financial crisis of 1997. When the Thai baht collapsed, it dragged down Indonesia, Malaysia, and South Korea. Currencies crashed, jobs vanished, debts in foreign dollars became impossible to repay. The people who suffered most weren't the rich hedge funds that caused the panic. They were ordinary families, their savings wiped out overnight. The ones who survived, those holding assets abroad or hard currencies like the US dollar. Different century, same story. Fast forward to Lebanon, 2019. People woke up and couldn't withdraw their own money. Banks locked their doors, ATMs went dark, the Lebanese pound lost over 90% of its value. Doctors, engineers, teachers, all left holding worthless paper because your bank balance isn't a treasure chest. It's a loan you made to a system that can choose not to repay you. Those who held property, foreign currency, or gold escaped devastation. Everyone else was trapped. And it's not far away. In 2008, Americans lost their homes and pensions while the very banks that caused the crash got bailed out. In 2020, during COVID, trillions were printed, inflating the assets of the wealthy while wages lagged behind. In 2023, regional banks collapsed again. The pattern never changes. So, what does survive when money fails? History gives us the answer, over and over. In Byzantium, it was gold. After the Black Death, it was liquidity and land. In Florence, it was distrust of bankers. In the Confederacy, it was hard goods. In France, it was food and property. In Asia, it was holding value in stronger currencies. In Lebanon, it was escaping the system early. Real assets, real skills, real independence. Collapse isn't the end. It's the great reset that exposes what was fake and rewards what was real. Every crisis is a transfer, from the many who trusted to the few who prepared, from paper promises to tangible value, from passive savers to active builders. Because when money fails, what survives isn't just gold or land. It's the ability to create value when others can't. The baker who can feed a city, the craftsman who can repair tools, the farmer who can grow, the thinker who can teach. These are the true currencies that never go to zero. And maybe that's the most important lesson of all. Every empire falls, every currency collapses, but the skills, assets, and awareness you build before the crash, those are what buy your survival when others panic. So when the next system breaks, and it will, the question isn't if money will fail, it's whether you'll have something that still matters when it does. Because history doesn't just repeat, it warns. And those who ignore it pay the price, in savings, in freedom, in time. If this gave you a new perspective on wealth and survival, hit subscribe.